With regards to the property taxes that we were discussing here today, and I add my voice to those of my colleagues, that when we talk about the increase in spending that the city has put forth, from $70 billion roughly in the last year of Mayor Bloomberg to now we're looking at over $88 billion. That's putting a tremendous burden on property taxes, and as you know, a third roughly of the city's revenue comes from that. But to highlight some of the inequities, I happen to bring my property tax bill. I happen to bring yours as well. But the point—
How convenient.
You have to have exhibits, right? Yeah. Mine, $559,000 home. I pay roughly $5,400 in property taxes. You have a $1.6 million home. You pay roughly $3,500 in property taxes. So I am paying $2,000 more for a home that's valued at about a third. And that is really what this issue is about. It's the inequity of the effective tax rate, where, for example, in your district, which you pay the least effective tax rate, it's 1.05%. And unfortunately for me, in my district, my council district, I pay the highest at 1.05%. You pay the least at 0.33%. So that is why the Property Tax Commission is so important. I'm glad that over the summer you've agreed to do that. I've offered my assistance in any way I can to support this, because I think it is something for all of our constituents that is very important. My question is regarding the property tax levy. You've testified here today that the tax rate has not gone up, and it hasn't gone up, and I agree with you there. However, what has gone up is the property tax levy, which is what you as mayor and the city council members have control over. And so in 2015, that levy went up 6.14%. In 2016, it went up 6.88%. In 2017, it went up 6.83%. In 2018, it's 7.49%. Now, you as the mayor and the city council members have control over that levy, and why do you keep increasing it every year, and what can we anticipate for the fiscal year 2019? Because cumulatively, it has gone up over the last 4 years, 37.71%, which is an additional $7 billion on property tax homeowners, and that is something I think that is upsetting to a lot of people across the city, particularly those who are paying that higher effective tax rate, such as those in my district.
Assemblymember, let's break that into a couple of quick pieces. The inconsistency among neighborhoods makes no sense, has to be addressed. It's something about our current tax law that doesn't account for the reality of our lives today. And that's why we will have a process very soon, and we will need your help, and I appreciated your offer to help. I will certainly take you up on that, because we have to get to a more consistent and transparent system. I've tried to be honest with people, and I find that New Yorkers appreciate blunt honesty. And again, I've said it at 51 town hall meetings. I've explained, first of all, this is based on rising property values, which none of us like the tax impact, but we do appreciate when our property values go up. And second, that our property tax levels are proportionally much lower than the rest of the state. But really it comes down to, what are we providing people for the money that they are contributing? And I have to tell you, a lot of that, you're right, there's been a substantial increase in the budget. One of the reasons why was at the end of the Bloomberg administration, none of our city workforce, pushing on towards almost 400,000 people, none of them were under contract. Some of them had years and years when they weren't under contract previous. All of that had to be accounted for. So we were all left to make up for that, which we've done now. But that did increase the budget greatly.
And I appreciate that. I'm sure there's, if you and I both sat down, looked at the budget, I'm sure we'll have differences in what we would like to eliminate or what we'd like to add. But it doesn't take away from the fact that the city, as well as the state, needs to live within its means. And the issue here is that the levy, which the city, without a property tax commission, without any action from the state, you and the city council alone have control over that property tax levy. And you've chosen to increase it year after year to a point where it's a cumulative increase of 37%. That's $7 billion more that we're seeking from the taxpayers. So I ask if you would consider freezing that levy or at least a cap, which has been suggested here, and we've, of course, have legislation which you've opposed, unfortunately. But I really think, at least for a year, can you look at perhaps capping that levy to a reasonable rate to give until we complete this commission study and find a better solution to revise what has been an outdated law. We both agree, 1981, it's outdated. Housing stock has changed. Times have changed. But we do need some type of relief until that commission is in place. And I think by freezing or capping the property tax levy, that's the way to do it for now. Thank you.
I respect the question. Obviously, I respect the idea you're putting forward. I don't agree. And the reason is that my job is to protect the safety of the people of this city. My job is to make sure schools are getting better, roads are being paved, everything we're doing. People demand those services rightfully. And if we're going to look at the overall dynamics of property tax, we should do it all of a piece. We should put all the pieces together and do it properly. So that's how I believe is the right way to proceed. Again, people very much, when I talk to them about the specific things we could not do if we changed our approach to property tax, consistently I hear from my constituents, they do not want us to cut back on the services we provide to the people of the city. In fact, wherever I go, and I know you both would agree with me, you've been at the same town hall meetings, people are demanding more services. So I would argue the right way to approach this is with an overall effort to reform the property tax system.
Well, certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.